Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video to show you how to change the home button fingerprint sensor in the OnePlus 2. So first of all, before you get started, what you want to do is make sure that your device is powered off. Then you want to grab the phone, and right here in the back cover, you just carefully stick your thumbnail or something in that slot right there. Then you can just pry up, work your way around, and the back cover comes right off. So next what you want to do is remove any SIM cards at this time. Next, what you're going to want to do is use a tweezers or something. That's what I use. It's something fine. And you need to get in here. There's 3 rubber plugs in these screws right here. And there's 2 rubber plugs up here and 1 here. So you need to take those 6 out. I already took them out, but I wanted to show you need to take those out. And there's also a white sticker down here on this bottom one. We're going to need to remove that. Next, we're going to need to use a Phillips screwdriver size 000. And we're going to need to remove all these 18 screws all the way around. They should all be the same size, so you don't need to worry about mixing them up. I'll include links in the video description for any tools that I'm going to be using today or any parts that I'm going to be replacing. Anything that I think might be helpful to you, I'll include links in the video description below this video, so check them out there. So next, now that you got all your 18 screws all the way around out of there, I'm going to just use something like a tweezers here very carefully. Go in this little slot right here, and you can just get that started, popped up a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is hold it with my thumbnail like that so it doesn't pop down. And then I'm just going to carefully slide something like this plastic pry tool under here. And you can see this is letting loose. So just be careful with it. It comes loose pretty easy. And then the whole back just comes right off. So next we're going to remove the logic board here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to grab this tape right here and peel that off. And grab this one over here as well and peel that off. Next we're going to use a Phillips screwdriver size 000, same as we did to open the back up. And we're going to remove this little screw right in this corner here. So next what we're going to do is we're going to remove these connectors right here with a plastic pry tool or something, or your fingernail. Don't use anything metallic. You're going to remove this connector here. You're going to remove this connector here for the battery. Got all kinds of connectors to remove here. Let's remove this one here, this little one over here, and then up here we have this copper tape to remove. And then there's a connector that came up with the copper tape, but we need to remove that as well. The next we need to remove this antenna wire right here as well. Then I'm going to turn the phone this way, and we can just carefully pry up under here, and we're going to tip it up this way first. Watch this front camera so it comes up with it as well. Because of the headphone jack here sticking in the way, we kind of need to tip it up like this and then kind of pull it back a little, and then it comes right out. So next we'll want to remove the battery, and what I use is like a plastic pry tool like this. And we're going to start into this corner. There's this charging cable that runs right down through here on this side, so we're going to start on this side. We're just going to carefully pry up under here. And this thing's not stuck down very hard, so once you get started, just kind of get it loose. Then the battery will pry right out. Then next we're going to remove this part down here. So first of all, let's go ahead and disconnect this connector right here. We're going to disconnect this antenna wire right here. Disconnect that connector. Disconnect that connector. Now what we're going to do, start under this cable right here. It's just stuck down with adhesive, and then you want to watch this right here. Make sure that this pops loose so you don't tear that off. Have that come down along with it. Make sure that this pries up pretty well. And what I found for this bottom part, if you get under something and kind of just rock that a little bit, it's just stuck down. And once it's loose, you can just grab this and kind of wiggle that out. Then that part comes out. Then we're going to want to just pry up on this board here, and that comes out. So what you're going to need to do is have like a hair dryer or a heat gun or something. I'll include a link in the video description for a heat gun if you need one. What we're going to want to do is flip the phone over, and we're going to need to heat all along here. And you want to probably heat for a couple of minutes. You don't want to get it too hot, but there's nothing really that can get too damaged. So what you want to do is especially start in this corner right here by the front camera is a good place to start. And now this may be kind of hot to touch when you're done heating it, but what you want to do is just carefully and use something that doesn't scratch, and I say like this plastic pry tool right here. And see if I push really carefully right there, that screen starts separating. So what I ended up doing is got a guitar pick in here, and it's kind of hard to do while you're pushing in on this part here, but I ended up using my thumbnail to assist a little bit, just to hold it open like that till I could get this in here. So what we want to do is we want to have that hold it so it can't close up again. Then we want to give it some heat. Don't go too far, but give it some heat every so often, and it shouldn't come too hard. And then we're just going to keep working it. I just slid this one down to here, so I'm going to try to attempt to slide this one this way. And you can see it separating there. All the way it's starting to separate. If you have several guitar picks, they're handy to have. And what we're going to do is just keep going around here. So now if you have one in this corner here, if you have more than one, you can just keep something in here to slide this down as we go here. Maybe keep something up here to keep this apart if you need to. Excuse all my fingerprints on this screen. It's hard to do without getting fingerprints on it. And it should be able to slide nice and smooth like that if you got enough heat on it. As you can see in there, there's some adhesive sticking, but it just let loose. Now you want to watch these connectors back in here. Now as you pry apart, watch, there's this sticky part right here that wanted to stick to it, but otherwise that was the only thing. And then it just pulled out, then the whole screen comes out just like that. Next we're going to want to peel up this yellow tape right here holding these connectors down. Just try to get under them and pry them up. And what I found, to take these apart separately, it's easiest just to cut down through the middle of these to split this tape in half. Then we want to carefully get under this right here and just pry up. It's just stuck down with adhesive. I'm going to peel that up. I'm going to get under here and pry this side up too. Now that that side's pried up, then we can just pry under this middle part right here. Then that part comes out, the touch buttons. Next, to change the home button fingerprint sensor, what we can do is just get under this yellow tape right here, loosen that up. Then you can just get under it with something like this pry tool or something, and it just has strong adhesive under it. You can just carefully pry up. Then this part comes right out. To reinstall your new button, grab your new button, make sure that the adhesive is ready to go. Then we're just going to grab it and set it down in here. Press the tape down. Next, to reinstall your touch buttons, just grab it and set it down on here. Let's line up that side right there, line up that side right there. You can pretty much line them right up with the holes where they go. And we'll press our tape down there, make sure it's stuck. For reassembly, we want to grab our mid frame. And we want to grab this part here. We just want to make sure to start the wires through this hole and this hole right here. So you want to make sure that this wire started through and that these two wires are started through. Then what we want to do to make sure that this is seated down right, if we want to apply some heat again, then we want to press down all the way around once it has some heat applied. So once you applied some heat, you can also hold it down on a flat surface like this, just kind of hold it until it cools off, and that helps for the adhesive to set nicely. Then we're ready to start reassembly. Go ahead and set this down in here. Let's reconnect these connectors right here. Then we'll grab the charging port and set it down in here. To get this bottom part in here first, we need to keep it tipped up. It needs to be tipped up partly as you slide it in here and then set down. Then you can press it down. Then let's reconnect this connector here. Then as we're coming up through, we want to push this down where it goes. It has two pegs where it hooks onto. Then we can just continue to stick this back down all the way up through. Next we can grab our battery and set it down in here. Press it down. To reinstall the logic board, what you want to do is you want to make sure first of all that this mute button is all the way up. And then you want to make sure that this switch in the logic board is all the way up. If it got bumped in any way, if it got down too far, then you're going to not be able to line it up in the button right here. So we're going to need to move both to the top position. So to reinstall, just grab your logic board, set it down in like this. Now when you set it down, you'll have some things to watch. You want to watch this antenna wire right here. You want to watch this connector over here. All these different connectors in the way here, and this antenna wire yet again. All these different connectors you want to watch as you set it down in here. You want to make sure that you're tucked down in here good when you press it down. Otherwise the logic board can't come far enough forward to set down properly. So if it's not quite seating in here, then that's usually the problem, is it's not down quite in the front here and far enough forward. Then you want to grab your screw and put it in here. Then we'll start reconnecting things. So let's go ahead and start reconnecting some things. So let's reconnect this. Push the copper tape back down. Let's reconnect this connector. Reconnect this connector. Reconnect these two. And also let's reconnect this antenna wire right here. Make sure it's pushed down in its channel, the wire, when you're done. Let's grab our tape and put it back on here. And you're all set. To put the back part back on, just grab the back part, set it down on here, just press down, clip it in, and go ahead and put all your screws in all the way around. Once your screws are back in, make sure to put these 3 plugs back in here and the 3 rubber plugs in the bottom right here. Be sure to install your SIM card next. Then you can grab the back cover, set it right down on here, make sure it's pressed in all the way around, and you're all set. Thanks for watching.